Hello everybody and welcome to a new player guide for Daniela Reyes from the Core 2026 Arkham Horror. If you are wondering how the heck can I make a better Daniela deck than what's included in the core set, well, one, it's not that hard, and two, Travis is here to get your back to make sure that you can start winning with Daniela Reyes. Additionally, we're also going to be talking about some cards from the Evergreen, the Tommy Muldoon starter deck, and also the Izzy Barnes starter deck because of Daniela's deck building. Yep. So we're going to kind of do that for all these investigators here, but we're starting with Daniela because she's the Guardian. So before we dive in and look at the deck and start talking about the cards, let's talk a little bit about Daniela. So, Daniela Reyes, if you want to just go down into the simplest terms for how you want to approach her playstyle, and the decisions for the cards you put into your deck, she is a tank fighter. So when we say a fighter, that means that's the primary role. There are 4 roles in an Arkham Horror Investigator: fighter, clover, flex, and support. The only one that matters here is fighter. You're going to just be, your job is to kill enemies that appear. And Daniela's pretty good for it. She has an ability that wants you to do that. As a reaction after an enemy attacks an investigator location, fight that enemy either using a basic fight action or a fight action on a card. So, for example, on her wrench, you could be able to use that as a reaction to an enemy attacking an investigator at your location. But because her ability requires enemies to attack, you also got to survive those attacks, or at least have a plan to not just like die immediately, because she also only has 5 sanity. So that's where the tank idea comes in. So the tank is you're going to want ways to soak damage or heal damage and just generally be responsible for engaging enemies and keeping enemies managed, whether that be by killing them or by killing them.
Yeah, that pretty much sums up.
Yeah.
Both the survivor and the guardian aspects of her deck building have options to support that. So you'll be seeing cards for the survivor is more about healing than it is about actual soaking damage, whereas the guardian side doesn't. It like more prevents damage than removes damage that's already been placed on her. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know what her weakness did until now.
Hell yeah, Brent. You're always just along for the ride.
Yeah, so like I know very little about what the new investigators do, except for the 2 of them that I've played.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. This one seems very strong. 5 punch is very good.
Yeah, so yeah, 5 punch is great because you're going to be wanting to kill enemies. And this means that you have to put a little bit less than a 4-fight investigator would need to be able to do the same thing.
Yeah, we're not so reliant on an ally that gives us +1 punch or other effect to get up to like 5 or like 6 or 7 pretty reliably.
Yeah.
Because we're almost there.
She does have 3 brain, 3 willpower, the first number in the stat line there, which is really nice to have for her 5 sanity. Because this is probably the biggest risk when it comes to playing Daniela, because enemies don't hit for just damage. They'll also be hitting for horror. And encounter cards will also be targeting your sanity through horror damage. So having 3 brain means that while it's not a sure thing, some cards that we're going to have in our deck are going to make that easier for us to just be a little bit more defensive in the Mythos phase.
Yeah, easier to manage.
Yes, yeah. Her signature weapon allows you to trigger attacks against you, which is really nice. And her in harm's way weakness is just going to be dealing you damage. Something that you need to be aware of, that you kind of have to be taking 3 points of damage after as the game goes. And it's forced, so it has to happen. It will reshuffle, but Guardian and Survivor, at least with this deck, are not going to be too crazy on the card draw, so cycling through it, seeing multiple times is going to be unlikely. And luckily, there is a card in this deck that actually just single-handedly kind of mitigates the weakness, so we'll point that out when we get to it.
Yeah, in harm's way, luckily doesn't do direct damage, so it actually kind of just kind of doesn't exist.
Yes. Yeah, the thing that's going to be the scariest thing about In Harm's Way is that if you draw it too late, it's maybe just a free physical trauma, but you have 9 red.
You can afford it.
Most of the time you feel like, dang, I get to draw a card this turn.
Yeah, and actually one thing that is really neat, once we get to the Evergreen starter decks here, there's a good card that, for at least for mitigating the physical trauma in this smaller environment, which is going to be good. We'll point that one out too, if I remember. All right, that's Daniela. The thing you just have to remember as we talk about all these cards, because if we're not going to like reiterate it on it too much, is just tank fighter. You're here to kill enemies and survive. Keep it nice and simple. Here is our deck. We're going to be talking about all these cards individually, but this is just the slide-a-ball here to make it look really pretty. This is just the core only. There's also a link down to an Arkham build deck list that you can find in the video description. 30 cards, Guardian 05, Survivor 02. Really nice and simple.
Yeah, in designing these decks, I didn't try to make them like as optimal as you could from the core set, from the cards available to you. I tried to minimize overlap between them, so that would be easy to build whichever two of them you wanted. So if you wanted to play, Joe and Trish, for example, and maybe you don't.
Too bad.
I mean, you are gonna have to play with magnifying glasses, but like, that's just life. Yeah, trying to minimize how many cards are used in multiples of the decks, and also play a little bit into their individual, like what they're good at, and like sort of their the dream that they have. Daniela wants to be the tank fighter, so we're going to be using primarily the melee weapons, even though there's a lot of really great firearms and firearm support in the Tommy Muldoon deck. We're still going to be trending towards the melee weapons, because if you want to play a guy who shoots people, you should probably play Tommy.
Yep, yeah, makes sense. All right, let's start here first with weapons for enemy management. We have the wrench here from the earlier slide. This is her signature. Having it in play is very good. Daniela Reyes, if you do not know, because you might be new to Arkham, she is a reimagining of an old investigator, and the wrench is very similar to her original wrench.
One of the new old investigators.
Except it's got an axe.
There's an axe strapped to it. But that one was really good. It changed her playstyle when she had it in play. And that kind of still carries over here. Travis, I know that the weapons here are kind of just the weapons that were available.
Yeah.
But what's any guidance for what weapon would you look for most on the mulligan when you were kind of...
Daniel's wrench is like the good one.
Yeah.
Other than that, Mache is a good one to have early, because it just sits there and it is going to... you and your teammates are probably going to be fresh with resources and be able to deal with the enemies one by one and make sure that you're getting that extra damage when you need it. Whereas I prefer to have like the 1911 and the meat cleaver a little bit later in the game. Meat cleaver is really strong with the extra damage from taking horror, but you don't really want to be powering to that early in the game on Daniela, because that makes you pretty fragile towards the late game. You prefer to have one of the other ones,
but
for
you're
sure.
almost always going to get the +2, because you only need to have 2.
That is really nice for it.
This is true.
Yeah, for that. It's like a nice, you can drop that out, in the late game and just be I can just attack without needing to... you might still trigger the damage, trigger the horror from the reaction ability, but we'll have some ways to kind of figure that out on the next slide.
Especially when you get to the later parts of the scenario, it's really easy to get the meat cleaver online with Daniel's wrench.
Yeah.
You just, you eat an attack, and then you get extra damage at your wrench, and then you get extra damage at your meat cleaver, and everything's good.
Yeah, and it's actually one of those things, too, where, the M1911 in one hand to, shoot an enemy, a 3 health enemy down to 1 health remaining, and then killing them with the meat cleaver is a good way to also just have, horror sustain, right? Because the extra damage gives you... the horror you take gives you the extra damage, but the horror healing is just on defeating an enemy, which is just on the top action. So that can be a really good way of staying alive.
Yeah, that really is why the wrench, I think, is the best one to have overall, because it just always gives you the +2 to your melee attack. It pairs well with any of the other weapons, so you don't have to... it just is really easy for getting that last 1 damage.
Yeah, it also only costs 2 money, which is kind of big.
Yes.
For a weapon that isn't trash.
Yeah. Additionally, the enemy engages you is something that, as a new player, you might not be aware of how just efficient that is. This is kind of a more advanced concept of tempo, but the idea is that you are saving an action by not even spending an action, right? So you're getting with Daniela's ability, you're getting an attack off of the enemy's attack from the wrench. But if you're also engaging it from engaging an enemy off another investigator, you're essentially saving 2 actions with its ability, which is very powerful.
Yeah, or tagging an aloof enemy.
Yes, yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
It's also a lightning bolt.
Yes, yeah.
So you can do that so...
Yeah, you could even
whenever you want.
Yeah, an enemy. My biggest advice for you as a new player, apart from playing these decks because they're always awesome, but look, if you see a lightning bolt ability, look at timing windows and see what you can discover there. We're not going to tell you what you can do with them in this video.
I got one situation I was just curious about, Justin. What happens if someone's attacking an enemy that they're engaged to, and then during the test you make it engaged to you?
If you would miss, you would hit you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if there's like something that cares about whether you're engaged to the enemy, then
that would no longer be applicable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not. It cares about when the resolution happens, not when the attack's initiated.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Neat.
All right, so these are our weapons, but we also have assets for survivability here.
Yeah.
We have Alexei Saburov. This is a way that you can just kind of live forever. This guy, he heals a damage or a horror when your turn begins, which means you can drop little pieces of damage onto him. So, like, for example, the damage from In Harm's Way or the horror from Meat Cleaver, and just not worry about those effects triggering. Bandages. Is another way for you to stop In Harm's Way. In Harm's Way is going to deal you 3 damage. Bandages, conveniently, heals 3 damage.
Whoa.
Resilience is some soak. That's what the card does. It's all it does, actually.
Resilience was one more card for the deck.
But like, if you are trying to tank a lot, these kind of effects can go a long way, especially in a level 0 deck.
So, like, if you get caught up like Alexei is, or the guy in Resilience, it doesn't matter how tough you are.
Yeah.
You are going to be carrying an infection and maybe die.
Yes.
No, that's what the bandages are for. You're good.
That's not how that works.
No, they're sterilized bandages. You can tell because they're in a nice roll. Like they came that way.
Yeah.
That means they're sterile.
Well, I mean, he's just, like, Alexei's using the bandages, and the guy in Resilience, the guy in Resilience is just pouring alcohol on it.
Yeah, that's like his solution. It's.
I mean, Resilience guy's he's not getting infected.
No.
He's got lots of alcohol there, man.
Level-Headed is the last one here. This is a really nice card for surviving in the Mythos phase, because the 2 most common tests you're going to see in the Mythos phase are Brain and Foot. And the reason for that is because the 2 most common tests you're going to make during the Investigator phase are Book and Fist. So the other 2 are seen most commonly during the Mythos phase. So being able to spend just 1 resource for 2 willpower can mean the difference between taking 3 horror during the Mythos phase versus only taking 1. This one's only a one-of, because it is very resource intensive, and this deck, while it has ways to get resources, that's not as reliable and
not as many as you could use.
Exactly.
If you look at the cards we've looked at, we've seen our signature, which is 2 resources. All of our weapons cost 3. Alexei costs 3. Bandages is 2. Resilience is 3.
Yeah.
And the level ahead, you have to put 2 into just for the privilege of using it. So.
This is something as well as a new player, if you are playing a fighter, if there are no enemies on the board, you may feel compelled to advance the game state, but sometimes the best way to advance a game state is gaining a resource and then playing an asset in your hand, or even just gaining 2 resources. Especially if you're looking at all these expensive cards, which, the curve is sitting at probably a high 2-point,
Something.
high,
we got a decent number of skills too, but yeah.
Yeah, don't let Travis tell you different. Emergency cash without an emergency cash is a perfectly valid turn.
Speaking of emergency cash, here's our economy and consistency slide. So, economy, that is cards that give you resources or give you cards. E-cash gives you 3 resources. It's really good economy, and it's like one of those things that even if you're playing with a giant collection, you're going to find yourself still using emergency cash as an option for your money. It's just really
especially
good.
at level 0 with no green access.
Yeah.
Even when in our old chapter 1 decks, when we build them, we still often end up. You see emergency caches floating around still, so it's a good card.
Right tool for the job allows you to find the weapons in your deck, so it's going to be able for you to dig out your wrench, your refilled M1911, a machete. It's a way for you to dig those things out, which is really nice. Later in the scenario, if you have those weapons, it does commit for a book, so you can use that to help yourself or someone else get clues. These cards are not really exciting, but it's one of those things that actually being able to do what you came to do into the scenario is exciting. Like, actually being able to kill the monsters is where the fun part of right tool for the job comes in.
Yeah, like doing what you expected to do show up. It's not so much that that's exciting; it's that not being able to do it is really disappointing.
Yes, and it causes like
I wouldn't know anything about that.
No, you wouldn't. I would though.
I was reading a Reddit thread today of people being like, where we lost this game because there were 3 enemies and we couldn't kill them, right? So that's why, like, on the Mythos phase, like, for example, if you're playing 2 players, there's a chance that you could draw 2 enemies on the first Mythos phase, right?
That's spooky.
So you want to be able to have the consistency to solve those enemies if they do appear. And that's why cards like Right Tool for the Job are helpful for that, at least when you have a smaller collection. You can't just go like gung-ho on weapons and stuff in your deck. Or alternatively, if you're looking for a specific tool or weapon, like in the case of the wrench, Right Tool for the Job helps you find that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like getting to play extra copies of your good cards.
Yes. Yeah.
To an extent.
They're the base of our pyramid of
Yes.
stability.
Then we have Hunter's Instinct, which is
3 emergency caches.
3
baby.
emergency caches. Yep. No, that's what we use
This
it
card was
for.
kind of trash, but then I realized it didn't actually force you to take red events.
Yes, it's just
You can
every level
you
0
just
event.
get a level 0 event.
Emergency caches.
And it's gonna be crazy because it like Hunter's Instinct is gonna be a card that you're gonna be playing forever, because also once we get to the Tommy Muldoon deck added to this, it's also 3 extra bounties, which is also really good. Like it's the best level 0 card you need in the moment, but in this deck it's most likely emergency cache.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
All right, we also have, you can pick up a few clues with some options here. 2 copies of Look What I Found and 2 copies of Lesson Learned. This is just ways for you to advance the game state while either doing it by enemies being engaged with you in the case of Lesson Learned, triggering your ability in the process, or just in downtime on low shroud locations. You can use that to get those.
Yeah,
Look-
or you can pitch it at a high shroud location
Yep.
when somebody else is doing that job.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really nice for that, especially with it costing 2 and your resources going to be being spent other places.
They're always a little bit taxed unless there's not a lot of enemies, in which case
Unless you're drawing an
do
emergency
whatever
cache
you want.
every single
man.
turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, each enemy just gives you an emergency cache.
Yeah, each enemy giving you a bounty does seem really
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
kill me. You wouldn't. You wouldn't.
Somebody told me you're made of money.
A little fun rule interaction for Look What I Found, which will really help this deck in particular. 2 shroud locations are always able to be Look What I Found, because when a test ends, you're even if you fail, even if you draw like the -4 or the auto fail, your test bottoms out at 0, which means that you'll always be 2 or less on 2 shroud while investigating. So Look What I Found is always on. Just some advanced stuff that you might not know if you're going out here, but if you bring this to the deck and you do this, someone might doubt you. So just point them to this video and then tell them to like it and comment as well, please. Speaking of, you should like and comment. Offensive skills. So these are skills that you're going to be using to do things that are offensive, killing enemies. We have Overpower, only a 1 of, which makes sense. You have 5 fists. You're not going to need it as much.
Yeah, most of our tests are going to be at like 6, 7. Honestly, this is more like
I'm sorry, what did you say?
we're going to be around 6 or 7. This is important for helping other people chip into damage if they need it.
Yeah.
If you have a flex, helping them get the 1 extra damage on the elite that you're fighting, or God forbid your seeker need to do something.
Yeah. Yeah, and like the occasional Mythos card will ask you to test Fist to either get rid of it or cause you not to take damage or whatever, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and these kind of like filter through your deck. These are the new one of these base skills, so it's now the Performing Investigator, which is nice because it does allow you to kind of like help your teammates out if they are feeling like a little bit like behind. But also if you are needing to dig through your deck, don't be afraid to commit these just to also dig through your deck. Vicious Blow, it just deals extra damage.
More damage is more damage.
Yeah.
Yep, you can see this one a lot.
Yeah. And now we have our defensive skills.
Oh, it's
Who wants to talk about that one
back.
first?
I can talk about Guts. I'll
Yeah.
start this off with Guts. So Guts is good because, as I mentioned earlier, the Mythos deck is going to most commonly test you with Brain and Foot. But it's also, I think that's less true. And I was going to say mostly it's like leaning more towards Brain, but I think now it's pretty balanced with the new cards here. We're still we haven't really experienced them too much, but the Mythos deck is going to ask you to test Brain. And when it's asking you to test Brain, most likely it is going to then deal you Horror. So in the case of Daniela Reyes, this allows you to defend yourself or another low willpower teammate during the Mythos phase so you don't die. And dying in Daniela to Horror is scary because each mental trauma that you accrue means that you have to be more focused on your survivability. So that's why Guts is really good here in Daniela Reyes.
It's basically free.
We have Unexpected Courage, which is, you can use it as you want. Just 2 wild icons is good to stay defensive. You can use it offensively as well, but
Costs
it's just...
no money or nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I can't say I love the art for this new one.
No.
She looks like a real tough lady.
Yeah, yes, that's Expected Courage.
Yeah, it's like I expect that.
Yeah. And then we have Timely Intervention, otherwise known as the time-traveling grandma who pulls you away from the car.
I choose to believe that she's just walking down the road and she's like, I don't want to get splashed!
Yeah. This card is like a Guts that you can use after you draw a token. And that's pretty damn good. Guts is good, but like a Guts that you only have to use when you know you need it. That's really damn good as well.
Any skill test, hey?
Yeah.
So we can even throw this at like you failed a punch test by 1.
Yep.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe you didn't.
You're gonna see that one in the Izzy deck as well, but and it is much better for Izzy, I think, than for Daniela. And if that is the case, it could very easily be manual dexterity. They do quite similar things here.
Yeah. All right, upgrades. So we're gonna talk about some upgrade options here. There's not many in the
All
core
of them.
decks, yeah.
Yep.
But
No, yeah. In the core decks, it's pretty much like which ones do you want? The colorless ones or the 2 other ones?
yeah,
Yeah.
and I guess I'll take the 2 other ones.
Like,
Upgrade your offensive power and more survivability. Sledgehammer is another big melee weapon here. So when it's, as Travis said, wants to get like that up close and personal tank vibe, and this is really good. The nice thing about Sledgehammer is the downside of the top action where you don't get a fist boost. Danielle kind of just laughs at that.
She don't care.
Yeah, she's already at 5.
already there.
Like it's really nice for that.
Lots of our cards commit for fist symbols as well if you need to be higher.
Yeah, yeah,
Or you could just chunk them for +3 and
Yeah,
3 damage.
it is pretty good.
How does that interact with her reaction ability?
Thank you for asking.
I imagine how it works is that you get to ignore one of the arrow actions and must spend the other one.
Yes. There
So
is
you can't do it during other people's turns
correct. Yeah.
unless you have some sort of
Un-
weird
unless-
way to make. Your,
Unless you have not
Yeah,
gone yet,
yeah.
because you get actions at the start of the investigator phase, I believe. So if you can use the wrench to grab somebody during their turn,
and then you get
use,
one less during your turn.
Yes, yeah, you spend your actions there. Yeah,
That's weird.
yeah, that's a
like
recent
little
change.
strange.
That's a
It's
recent
little
change
strange.
for that because it
It's
used to be at
probably
the
so that-
start of the
It's
round.
probably for this.
It is actually probably for this exact interaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that's I'm glad you asked because that one I did have kind of locked and loaded ready.
Somebody had to.
Bodyguard.
I don't pay that much attention to the rules.
Oh yeah, I thought I was expecting Travis, but Travis got his rules
I got the
questions
early
in.
one,
Yeah.
yeah.
Bodyguard, he will soak for you and other people, but don't be afraid. I mean, he actually only soaks damage for other people, so the horror is just for you.
Yep.
When he is defeated, he's 2 damage, so he's both survivability and offensive power. Charisma will allow you to have more allies in play, more soak in play, and just kind of survive more, and also increase your potential. We also have upgrade your survivability and a little offensive power. Counterattack, you can stop enemies' attacks, and then you get to deal 1 damage to that enemy. You know, dodge that deals damage is pretty cool.
Yep. And that still triggers your reaction, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, it says that even if that attack was canceled.
Yep.
And then we have Scrape By, which is if you would fail a test, you can just pass the test. A little bit about this one is that you kind of have to be aware of the Take 1 horror, but Alexi in play will make that basically a non-issue.
Fairly skill test during which a non... So I have another rules question for you.
Yeah.
This one's isn't so relevant to the current environment, but if you draw a curse token to auto-fail, you can play this?
I would say yes.
Because you revealed a
If I'm just reading this as
token.
just on the tin, I
Yeah.
would say yes.
That seems a little unintended, but like...
All right. Oh, and then we have some more wild icons and some contingency. I forgot this one is here, but this one is, it's just 2 wild icons, and also it can kind of give you some...
Spare unexpected courage.
Yeah. some kind of like protection for your skills if you want to go all in, but not all in. Have a little bit of a contingency.
Yeah.
All right, so that is the core set. But now here is our Daniela Reyes core plus Evergreen starters with Tommy Muldoon and Miguel de la Cruz. Here's just the slide to go through it. We're going to talk about the cards individually like we did last time. We're not going to talk about cards that we already talked about them because we already talked about them.
Yep.
Nice and simple.
The deck is mostly similar. There's some upgrades to the events mostly. And you get a whole pile of upgrades.
And this deck's, the economy is... much better. Yeah, much better. Like, still, like, you probably not...
You can't be just throwing resources away on anything.
Yeah.
But, like, you're going to be able to afford your things instead of taking emergency cash turns.
Yeah,
Yes.
you are still allowed to do that.
You're allowed to. Yep.
Okay, let's see what's up first. Additions for damage, economy, and survival. The Service Revolver, which seems like it was made for Daniela Reyes, and, because she's Evergreen, it likely was. This allows you to get double actions out of when an enemy attacks you, and as I talked about earlier, anytime you can squeeze actions into something, the better. Also, Service Revolver is probably my favorite gun to watch people play, because of the whole thing where it's like, nah, that guy's fine. That ghoul, I have no problems with him.
I'm going to have to fill out paperwork.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
and then he tries to stab you, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And that goes perfect. The ghoul's now dead on Bounty.
Yeah.
Bounty is, I've only seen it played a few times, and it was just as good as it reads. This is a way for you to get money. Most enemies will hover around 2 to 4 health, but kind of like sitting at 3 is the most common.
Yeah, it's like 2 to 3 for the core set, but frequently, I would expect to end up at like 3, 4.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where this is, even as a fast emergency cache, it's very good.
Yeah.
Because, as we talked about, e-cache is good. You have to kill enemies to not lose the game, and turning those enemies into money is a good way for
buy
you
a new way to kill the enemy if you need it.
Yeah.
And this does say you can give the resource to other people, but you probably shouldn't.
The investigators at your location, that's going to be you.
It should be you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if there's somebody else there. It's still, it's you.
You should take them.
Yeah.
Yeah, blue is the money-hungry one. It's like that core piece of their identity.
Yes. Yeah.
It's you.
Really good target with the Hunter's Instinct, so definitely go wild with that. It kind of even depends on if you, you have the choice. I mean, if you draw, a 3 health enemy, grab Bounty. If you draw, a 2 health enemy and you can kill it in 1, grab Emergency Cash, right? It gives you the choice, and choices for you as a player can, squeeze more advantage out. Unless you need the actions to do that, that's the other thing.
With the 2 health enemy, I still grab the Bounty, because then you have the option of, taking that action that would have played the emergency cache to grab the 3rd resource, or doing something else with it. If that is, and
if you don't need the money now, you can grab the Bounty to hold for the future. Yeah, there's a lot. The choices is where Arkham really, it's where a lot of power really lives. Physical Fitness allows you to move. After this move, heal 2 damage.
I'm never gonna call that card that.
This card is one of the ways that if you are starting to get trauma from your weakness, this is you can just not. Also, if enemies are just attacking you, move actions suck to take. So if a move action also now heals you, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
But only a one of, because we don't need a lot of these. As a new player, you might be worried about dying, but effects like this you don't need multiple copies of.
I can't believe they missed the chance to call it Walk It Off.
Yeah, well, it would have been a good name.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, the Physical Fitness, it's not a super great card. It does its job well enough, but it's mostly there to earmark a slot for post-upgrade. There's some much better healing card options, and it gives you something easy to swap them out for.
Hidden Shelter is a way for you to make a location nice for all your investigators. With Daniela, this one's probably going to go away quicker than other for other investigators, because Daniela is actively trying to seek out enemies. But if you're able to get this, if you're playing in 3 players and everyone is able to trigger this on a turn, even just triggering it once is going to be just a lot of value for the table. And if you are able to do it in multiple rounds, that's a really good way too. But I imagine this is also, Physical Fitness, a good earmark for the future, depending on how you want to upgrade.
Yep. This one can be nice to just dump down a location if they're, you draw the enemy that turn, you kill it, and then you move into wherever your clue getter's soaking up clues, and you drop that down. Everybody gets a card or a heal or whatever. It's a nice flexible card.
Yeah.
Yeah, also gets much stronger the more you know the campaign that you're playing, because some scenarios have locations that you're going to live in for a while.
Yep.
And other ones do not.
Yep. One card. Grab enemies and grab clues. If you want to find an enemy, this allows you to do that. It also replaces itself, which is really nice. And it also discovers a clue. You might be asking, why would I want to grab an enemy? Well, if you have nothing to do on your turn, this can be a way for you to grab an enemy, kill that enemy, maybe trigger a bounty, but also replace this card and also discover a clue. That's a much better turn than essentially doing nothing unless...
And gain 3 resources.
I wasn't going to say it, but I knew you would.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I do like how this one has the, if it spawns an adjacent location, you actually hunt it down through the card as well, which is really nice. Yeah. All right. So, upgrades here. Also, third card, rest in peace to the deer that was being hunted on the card that we were just talking about. It looks like it's dead, and he's going to eat it, and he should not eat it.
He should not know that it has some form of wasting disease.
Travis is 100% right, though. The upgrades, these are some crazy healing cards that Daniela has access to. So Canteen is a lightning bolt to heal horror. It heals 6 horror from this card, which is...
It's cracked.
Yeah. And it only costs 1. It does 2
and
XP.
Your accessory slot, but who cares?
Yeah, that's a really nice option for... It's one of those things, when we were looking at just the core set for Daniela, she had to be more aware of the horror. But Canteen and the Meat Cleaver will now go the distance. That's a very viable thing that you're able to do.
Yeah, I don't like the Call of Cthulhu erasure that this is. Water does not make you feel less scared. That's the rules.
Well, that ain't water.
That's not water. That's wine.
It's fruit punch, and you're like, fruity goodness.
Okay.
Extra rations is very similar to Canteen, but it is for damage from healing from you or an ally asset you control. The rate is lower. It does replace it does discard itself, which Canteen doesn't. As a design thing, thank God. But
that's so messed up.
Yeah, at least you have to work for the Canteen a little bit by playing another accessory slot.
Yeah. But yeah, just if you're looking for damage healing, or if you want to keep an ally in play, this is a really nice thing. For the bodyguard that we talked about in the last one, it's a way for you to keep him to soak for other people, but also heal yourself if you need it.
Yeah, it really is just bandages.
Yes. Yeah. Field dressing allows you to heal 3 damage from among investigators and or ally assets at your location when a creature or monster enemy at your location is defeated. Fast healing can be good healing. This one is kind of more campaign dependent. It's tough to bring this one into a blind run, but if you're looking through, you're playing something that there's monsters, you want to play Daniela for the first time, field dressing can be really good. And then the upgrade into Walk It Off, it's move. After this move, heal 3 damage.
Yeah, it also only costs 1 now.
Yes.
Yeah,
which is a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the field dressing is also a nice option if one of your teammates gets a couple of physical trauma or something like that.
Yes.
Because you can heal other people with it.
Yeah. Upgrade for damage, clues, and consistency. Upgrade of Vicious Blow is just more damage if you succeed by 2 or more. Vicious Blow gives you those 2 fist icons for this. Detective Sherman gives you more fist and can soak for other people. And after damage is placed on him, you can exhaust him to discover clue your location.
Yeah, this guy's not the optimal ally for you. Honestly, for a lot of Daniela builds, you'd probably prefer just the blue one from the core set.
Logan Hastings, yeah.
If you want that plus fist. But
Yeah,
this guy is really good if your teammates aren't doing their jobs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things where
Yeah, he's also very good if we have the extra rations.
Yep.
Because then we can use it to get extra clues out of this guy.
Yes. It is kind of the thing for the ally slot is a very interesting discussion for Daniela. Because she doesn't need the fist from Logan Hastings, but Logan Hastings does give money. So it's there's the nice thing that's there. But also at the same time, 6 fist means that you have to try even less to get things done.
Yeah.
Lexi's really good because he helps you live
Never
forever,
die.
right? Which is really good for Daniela. And Detective Sherman is also he's a pretty good card, right? There's a lot of good text on him. Never mind the other part.
pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is pretty good. That is pretty good. You can't tell. I'm covering the art.
Yeah.
On our end.
No, they're like, don't worry, we're doing it too. But it's like you can kind of find like the best combination that you want. Like a charisma is really good, and then having like Logan and Alexi is really good, or like Alexi and Detective Sherman, or like Bodyguard and like Logan. Like there's a lot of things you can kind of like do to figure out the best thing you have there. Hunter's Instinct level 2 is the same, but it's level 0 to 2 events, which is probably still at this point
Level
mostly
0 events for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, there's like a couple level 2 events that you might really want, like if you're really all in on the healing or reliant on those. It's a good choice for that. But for the most part, you're going to be able to get by with the level 0 ones. Just here's an option if you did end up packing a lot of those higher level events.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and it's also one of those things that, like, this... Well, we're not going to be making videos to the extent of our extended guides in the future. Hunter's Instinct is kind of a card that you should always be aware of if an investigator has it in the pool, because now any level 0 to 2 event
goes up in value a little bit.
It's like, what should be here.
Always include.
You can also upgrade for more icons. We have Indomitable, which is if an enemy is an attacked investigator at this location this round, Indomitable gains... question mark, so 3 extra wilds. 4 wilds is very good. Yeah. That's 5.
It's 5 punch. It's 10 punch for Daniela.
What's also really cool is that you can sometimes feel like a pro. When we talked about those lightning bolt windows, if an investigator, for example, has an enemy engaged with them, and you draw a test in the Mythos phase that's like test for brain or die, and you're like, how do I do this? Well, with your wrench, you can grab that enemy from the investigator during the lightning bolt window during the test.
You can nest a bunch of tests.
Yeah. And then you can get the extra 4 icons from this. So Daniela has a bit more control on when this card can trigger due to the wrench, which is a big reason why the wrench is also a really pivotal part of her builds.
Yeah, you can be your Seeker's hero when they draw the 1 punch test on a Treachery in the Mythos deck, and then you scoop the enemy from them, take an attack, and commit this, plus 5 to it.
Yeah.
They'll love you forever.
Rough, for every 2 damage on you rounded up, Rough gains a wild. I think that's also, if she has 8 damage on her, 5 wild icons again.
That's like a lot of...
Yeah.
That's a lot of number.
It is a lot.
It's a lot.
Which
I think this one's like a little weird in that like if you're committing it to somebody else's test, it's like, why does this make you tougher?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You're just sitting there and you're like, my dad's gonna beat you up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just the security of having the grizzled Daniela there.
Yeah.
But this is like one of those things where it's going to be pretty bad in the early game, so you kind of have to be aware of Rough. But it's a baseline. Just being an overpower is not an awful place to be if you're looking for these kind of icon effects.
It's easy enough choice to like put a couple early damage on yourself if you have early roughs instead of on Alexi, because he's still going to take that damage later.
Or alternatively, let's say you're going into the final scenario and you have somehow taken trauma from your weakness every scenario, and you have 4 trauma on you. This isn't a bad 1 experience pickup for just 3 wild icons during the Mythos phase. Yeah. And that's why we're not here to help with upgrading. We never really do that, like replace this card with this card, because it is so...
Because then you don't learn.
Yeah. Try things out. Put things in, and if you're like, this was ass, it was probably just ass, and you might not want to do that again.
Maybe you played it bad, but...
All right. That's Daniela. We have more of these to come. We have a Joe Diamond, Trish Scarborough, Dexter Drake, and Isabel Barnes, or Izzy, as we call her here. Because that's her name. When we search for her.
That is her legal name.
I thought that's what her...
No, it's Isabel, and I always call her Izzy.
Oh, that's...
I'm actually mad that they have it on Isabel just because she's Izzy.
She is Izzy, yeah.
She's Izzy, and we're searching for her. Not anymore, though.
No, we found her.
Now we're searching for Jenny.
Yeah.
Who's probably dead.
Crushed by a boulder, I'm afraid. If this helped you, please let me know down in the comments. We will also be doing these for the Evergreen starter decks as well. So these are fun to do. And I hope you guys enjoyed us talking about Arkham and giving you some guidance for Daniela. If you want to support the channel, like, comment, and subscribe. Or if you want to go above and beyond, you can join the Patreon down in the video description. In the meantime, have fun playing Arkham and have fun killing enemies. Bye!